Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Sam, why can't I see you, Sam? Where are you?
Well, see, the thing is, mate, I'm not here.
I hate to argue with you, but I can hear you, therefore you must be there. I think they're... Go on.
I mean, yeah, technically I'm here, but...
Right.
But, I mean, we both know it's Thursday morning, right? Actually, when people are listening to this, it's going to be Sunday afternoon, evening. So...
Right.
I'm here now, but when they're watching it, I'm not here.
Right. So are you going to be here now, or are you not going to be here now and not be here on Sunday?
No, I'm here. Look, I'm here, but I'm not here because So
Explain for me and our lovely audience. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking in a bit of a riddle. Essentially, what it is, mate, is I'm a bit excited because on Sunday, when the episode goes out,
yes,
I will be doing something that will be revealed in future episodes, or we'll discuss at some point. And I can't talk about it now, but it's just something really exciting and something I'm looking forward to, and something that it's just going to be great. So I'm here, but I'm not here because I'm doing that. But I'm not doing that yet because it's now, but I will be then.
Not helped at all, mate. But
no.
Moving on.
Yeah, well, yeah. Aside from promoting something that I can't promote and can't explain, nice to see you, mate. First of all,
and
cheers.
you,
how you doing?
Good to see you, matey. Cheers.
Apologies to everyone listening and watching for my sort of cryptic whatever there. But stuff will be revealed, and I will be able to promote things properly. And actually, Drew. Speaking of promoting, I want to do a bit more promotion, but this time not useless promotion like I've just been doing where I can't really talk about something. I'm going to do some proper promotion. And it's not even for me. It's actually
generous.
Yeah, God forbid I'm ever generous. But no, long-time listeners and watchers of Drewling Samantics will possibly remember Mr. Callan Durrant, a very, very good friend of both of ours, who runs a fantastic theatre company, Reflex Theatre, who I've had the pleasure of working for on several occasions. And they are premiering a brand new play next week. So it's on the 5th, 6th and 7th of September. And it's in the Norwich and Norfolk area. So the 5th is in Halesworth at the Cut. The 6th is in Beccles at Beccles Public Hall. And the 7th is in Bungay at the Fisher Theatre. And they are putting on a play called Call Me John, which is a fabulous, fabulous piece of theatre, all about the gap between the older generation and the much younger generation and the fear of being forgotten and not leaving a legacy. And it's based on all true stories and facts and lots of research that's come from local elderly people in the Norfolk and Suffolk area. And actually, it's mainly based on a properly true story where Callan himself, his great-grandfather, wrote a book because he didn't want to be forgotten. So he put down lots of memories and lots of stories, and it then was released. So yeah, it's a fabulous piece of theatre. I've had the pleasure of doing a bit of work on the script. So I guess it is kind of selfish promotion, but not really, because I don't benefit in any way other than the fact of knowing that people will get to go and see this fabulous show. So yeah, please do, if you are in the Norfolk, Suffolk, that sort of area, East Anglia, or even if you're not and fancy travelling, it's only £7.50 a ticket, I believe, and you can get a ticket on the day from all the venues or online, www.reflextheatre.co.uk/Call Me John. The play is Call Me John, all about John and his grandson and not being forgotten. So there we go. There's my little bit of selfless promo.
Well done, mate. Lovely.
Yeah. And Callan, if you're listening, check in the post, please. Thank you.
Good luck. Yeah. And actually, now, strange you should do that and say that, because I've got a little bit. We were talking about the Edinburgh Festival a couple of weeks ago, and how busy it is and blah, blah, blah. And how hard it is for people to go up there, put a show on, and apart from shed loads of money and try and fight to get an audience, what happens next? Where do they go next? Is it money down the drain? Now, we have an old, guest of ours, Dave Bibby, who is a tremendous writer and performer, as we know. But we should congratulate him. He has won an award for his show, Baby Dinosaur. Yes, he's won an Amused Moose Award for the most fun show at the Edinburgh Festival. Brilliant. Big congratulations to Dave Bibby for Baby Dinosaur. Bibby and baby in the same sentence, not easy. But best, no one knows. Big congratulations to Dave Bibby for Baby Dinosaur and his Edinburgh Award. Well done, mate. Well done. Really nice to hear.
Dave. Well-deserved award. Fabulous show. So, well done to Dave. If you get a chance, go and check out Call Me John. And also, you've just said congratulations to another good friend of ours. Now, I want to slightly go off piece, but not so much congratulations. I want to say a thank you. And now, Drew, at this point, you may need to cover your ears. Now, for people familiar, they will know that sat before me, or not sat before me, but on my computer screen, is the TV's equivalent of Albert Einstein. Every time you see one of those bloody annoying adverts for buying a smart meter or whatever the hell it is, this big frizzy-haired scientist pops up, and it just so happens to be my good friend Mr. Fettis hiding behind some temporary plastic surgery.
Dead loads of makeup, mate.
Yeah, very, very talented makeup artist. Now, and this is why I said you may need to cover your ears, Drew, because I'm about to say a big thank you / congratulations / happy anniversary to possibly an arch rival of Albert Einstein. I'm going to talk about Mr. Thomas Edison.
Oh.
I don't know if they were rivals. I know they were both born in the 1800s, I believe. There was
something like that, yeah.
Either way, they're both
That's geniuses in their own way.
Geniuses that brought them. But we need to say a thank you to Mr. Thomas Edison, because on this day, 126 years ago, that's back in 1897, Thomas Edison patented the kinetograph camera, or the kinetoscope, and that is a device which produced moving pictures. So essentially, a lot of what we do, the fact that we're able to do this right now, we owe to Mr. Thomas Edison for creating a moving picture camera. So yes, 126 years ago, thank you, Mr. Edison, for giving us this incredible gift of technology. For without it, we would not be here. And no offense to Einstein, because he was great as well, but today it's all about Edison. So
it's all Tommy's day. Brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. I never knew that. That's a lovely, lovely little piece of information, mate. Well done. Yeah. Nice one.
And people will either be going, wow, or they'll be going, because they'll be
get on with it, boys. Get on with it. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Well, here's to Thomas.
Here's to all three.
Now, of course, that is one part of our wonderful industry, the television and the film arts. And I've been reading little bits and pieces in the news and catching up with a bit of news.
Of course.
And it's audiences' behaviour has featured in a couple of news stories. And I don't know whether it's the heat of the summer or people are just bored or whatever. But apparently, actually happened. 4 audience members were, and this story got me thinking. Okay. 4 audience members were, I don't know, asked to leave, escorted out, thrown out of a performance. Sorry? Ejected. Ejected. That's a very nice way of putting it. They were ejected from a performance of Grease. What happened? Why the altercation took place? I don't know. But an altercation took place during the interval which then stretched into what would have been the second act of the show, delayed the act. 8 policemen were called. Yeah, I know. 8 policemen and members of the theatre staff, obviously, front of house staff, and they were thrown out. They were ejected. Two cries of out, out,
Conor
out.
McGregor and friends or something, was it? And just for the record, other MMA competitors
are available.
Yeah, exactly. No offense to Conor, I think he's great. But yeah.
But yeah, and you wouldn't argue with him. But I mean, they were ejected, escorted, thrown out. Wherever the audience members are out, out, out. They all wanted to, the performance to continue, and why wouldn't you? But it just struck me that there is a little bit of audience behaviour and people not kicking off, but acting in an either, depending on your standpoint, rude or unexpected. Theatre etiquette gone out the window. If anybody ever knew about theatre etiquette or whatever, I don't know. I mean, there was something else disrupted at some other time. I can't remember.
There was. It was
another musical.
Bodyguard. It was Bodyguard, wasn't it? There
yeah.
were the performers refused to continue, or the show was stopped because people would not stop singing along. Which it's such a dividing idea, isn't it? Now we've all been to shows where the music is so familiar or we love it so much that we do want to sort of sing along. 99% of us have enough self-control to go, no, I've paid to be here. I've paid to see the people who are really good at this do it. I might enjoy it, but it's not my job. I mean, obviously it is our job, but I'm the royal we. It is not our job. So we shall allow the professionals to do so, rather than sort of joining in and going, well, I think all the other people in this auditorium will want to hear me as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's interesting because it's like you say, people know it really well and they want to join in, which is a tribute to, great music, great fun. Well, not always great music, but good shows, popular shows. And it's that like the wall comes down. I mean, if you're sitting in the Globe or the RSC or the National and someone's doing To Be or Not to Be, if you know it or not, you're not going to join in, are you? Because there's a kind of, there's a feeling of, that the fourth wall is up, as and we are watching, we are participating by watching and emotionally investing rather than vocally investing.
Yeah.
And there are musicals where I mean, I've been to musicals and sat there and and enjoyed the fact that I know and I'm very familiar with this piece of music, but I wouldn't dream of joining in. But then again, there are those, and they're more popular now, the jukebox musicals, where audiences are almost encouraged to join in, or there is a part of the show where they're like, right, this is your moment, stand up, let's get it together, let's all enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think
a good example of that would be Thriller Live. I don't know if you've ever seen Thriller Live.
Yeah, I haven't, but I know it. Yeah,
encouraged to stand up in the aisles or in your seats, clap along, sing along. That's possibly beyond even jukebox musical, because it's not like Michael Jackson's music in that show has been put together around a storyline. It's just a chronicling of his success and his music. That said, I'm sure I read that a brand new Michael Jackson musical is on its way or is premiering now, which I think will be the sort of the jukeboxy style where his music is worked in, but it's more of a storyline. Whereas Thriller Live is almost just almost an exhibition, I guess, of people.
Like a concert, isn't it? In a way, it's like. I mean, I wonder. I don't know. I haven't been on. I would love to go to the ABBA show. Do people join in with that?
Yeah,
because that's a purely technical show. No one is at any point is going to step out and go, "Look, guys, we'll just shut up."
Yeah, they're not even there.
They can't.
No,
it's a show to a click track for one. I mean, a very, very sophisticated, highly technical click track. But I mean, there are those sing along musicals. I mean, they've been going for years. In fact, a friend of mine produced quite a few of them. Sing along and Sound of Music, Rocky Horror Show. Loads of those sorts of shows.
And the cinema versions, aren't they? Where you go and watch the
you go on, but
Moment's probably the most that Frozen are probably the two most recent big pop.
They're the recent ones, yeah. But I mean, they've been going for donkeys, isn't it? And you understand that because again, you're singing along to virtually a click track with a live singer, a couple of live cast members.
Yeah.
But I mean, I went to see The Commitments when it was in the West End. I love the music. There's, I think it's great, and they were really good musicians, great, and a great film. And I remember, and the storyline in the show was good. The book was good. And then they kicked into the numbers. Now I went, and there was a couple of hen parties in and people like that, and they were up on their feet dancing. It didn't really interrupt, because as soon as they stopped, they sat down.
Yeah,
and it was interesting. It didn't really, and it kind of added a little bit to the clubby, pubby atmosphere that The Commitments had. So it kind of worked. I mean, I was sat up in the gods. I managed to get a cheap ticket. And when everyone stood up, it was like, well, I've got to stand up now because I can't see a bleeding thing about, I mean, I can't see much anyway above the back of the seats, but if people stand up, I'm screwed. But it's that thing of, and now I don't know, Grease, Bodyguard, things like that. They're incredibly familiar shows, brilliant music you want to sing along to.
I wonder if there are a couple of elements to this. In fact, I don't wonder. I believe there are a couple of elements to this. Number one, you mentioned earlier lack of etiquette, like understanding theatre etiquette. Now, years and years ago, I went to one of the Cirque du Soleil shows at the Royal Albert Hall. Now,
I went to a couple of those,
and people might think that I'm not in the wrong, but think I'm the silly one here. I'm pretty sure I wore a suit, or I had at least a shirt on with trousers, dressed smartly. Because in my mind, it's the Royal Albert Hall. Like it's, and I'm talking a little while ago, that to me, it generates some sort of prestige or some sort of expectation. Walked in, and there's lots of people in there in tracksuits, trainers, wife beaters, whatever. So maybe in that instance, it was me that was in the wrong, or me that was misunderstanding. But to me, it seemed a bit strange. And maybe it's got to a point where people don't treat going to the theatre as an event. It's not even a luxury anymore. It's just a thing that they do.
Yeah,
so I don't know, t-shirt and trainers and whatever. I'm not saying everyone should have to dress up like they go to a wedding, but if you go back a long time, you'll remember like sort of 1600s. But if we're talking historically theatre, men were in tops and tails, women were in ball gowns or long dresses and stuff. And I'm not suggesting again that should be now, but there was sort of a prestige to it. I think perhaps things like opera and ballet maybe used to be like that a bit more, and they're starting to lose that element maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's on the flip side, and I just justify, like, I'm not suggesting that we should alienate people, because theatre should be for everyone. And if people can't afford to dress up nicely, but then absolutely they should do that. However, is there this thing where people kind of, because they're not doing it that often, or because they're not in the world of theatre, or they don't understand these things, that they just go, have we sort of adapted to be a species where we kind of go, well, I can sing along to the TV, so why can't I do it here? The only difference is I'm not looking for a screen; it's there. So
yeah. I mean, I think I used to dress up and still do, kind of, because I think if I'm going, to me, it's an event, and I like to invest, like, okay. There's like, is it? Are we making it elitist by Dickie bows and black tie and all that, like, opera and thing? Yeah, but what's wrong with that? And you can dress how you like, and obviously there's no criticism of that. But there is an expectation that I think has disappeared. An expectation of behaviour, an expectation of just behaving yourself, just having a little bit of social responsibility and a little bit of appreciation for other people. Because let's face it, West End theatre tickets aren't cheap. And if I'm going to sit in if I paid over £100, which is possible, for a stalled seat for a major musical or a major show, I don't want some git sitting next to me singing along. Shut up. I pay to hear them, not you.
Look, I've apologised, Drew. I was enjoying the show, mate. I wanted to sing along. So,
well, I wouldn't mind you sitting next to me singing along because you can carry a tune. I mean, some people can't carry a tune in a bucket.
obviously, I'm joking, but I completely agree. But then again, perhaps, and this is the other sort of side that I was going to raise on this matter. Have you hit the nail on the head there? In that people have an expectation, and it's quite an elevated word, and perhaps I don't mean this high, but to an extent, entitlement. Is there this? I've paid 120 quid to go and enjoy myself. Why the fuck shouldn't I sing along? Why shouldn't I get up and dance? You're only here because of my hard-earned money, and I want to enjoy myself. And the clothing thing, I want to feel comfortable. A lady in a long dress, I don't want to sit in a long dress. I'd rather sit in jeans and a t-shirt because I'm comfortable. Let's face it, most theatre seats don't have a lot of leg room. Not that you'd know a great deal about that, but you can be uncomfortable, and you're sat there for a good couple of hours, bar the break in the middle or whatever. So yeah, perhaps people feel a little bit entitled and are going, I've spent my hard-earned cash to be here. I want to enjoy this. If I sing along a bit, what's the damage in that? And that is then that sort of self-absorbed or selfish thing of, I've done this, rather than going, everyone here.
Everyone's doing it. Yeah.
Let's keep it enjoyable for the majority. And I think that's an understanding thing. I'm going to, again, slight tangent, but as I've mentioned millions of times, and people are probably bored of me hearing, I was in Full Monty, the stage production, the musical, and 99% of audiences were fantastic during that show. But we did have, and I'm not sort of saying, oh, they were horrible, but we did have sort of the odd hen do or the odd, and I'm not being sexist, this is just how it was for this experience, larger groups of ladies who perhaps weren't fully familiar with the musical or the film or the story that goes behind it, in that they perhaps saw Full Monty, limited knowledge. Oh, Full Monty is about some blokes stripping. Excellent. Let's go and watch that. We'll all get on the booze beforehand. We'll all have plenty of drinks and it'll be a raucous night out. When actually, anyone that has seen the film or has seen the musical or the play knows that although it is about some blokes stripping, that is a small part of it. It's actually about struggles with lack of money, lack of work, lower income areas, things like that. So it's a really heartfelt, touching story with some quite dark themes to it. The stripping is just almost like a side effect.
But it's how they earn money, isn't it? That was just the means to an end for those boys.
Exactly.
In the film, in the story.
It's promoted about that because that is the sort of the draw. So you can see where wires get crossed and where people perhaps don't get that. Yeah. So we did have some very raucous audience members who perhaps didn't realise what they were going along to. Nonetheless, sure, everyone enjoyed, and it's great. But I think you've got so many elements. You've got that entitlement. You've got the sometimes lack of understanding, lack of experience if you've not been to the theatre much before. And then we were talking about, you said like it's very expensive to go to the theatre, and people going, well, I have spent a lot of money on this, so surely I should get my money's worth. And if that means that I'm joining in, so be it. It's a difficult one.
It is.
I think there is a right answer in that you respect those around you and you don't make it all about yourself. But I think we do also have to have a little bit of appreciation for why perhaps people might behave in certain ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
however, excuse what we were saying about people starting fights in the audience, like or disrupting the performers and stuff as well in the two main examples we had. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this one, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot about audience, as you say, audience expectation. I mean, I did a couple of things. I did a play called Ha Ha Hamlet, a comedy, Ha Ha Hamlet. It's in the title, and we did a night at I think it was a book society or in Radlett, a little an arts theatre in Radlett, and these people obviously came along to see not the Ha Ha part, but the Hamlet part, and we did a show to about 100 people who just, I think they weren't, just didn't find it funny. They were offended by what we were doing.
Really?
which the word offended, I did tough shit. I don't give a damn if you're offended, but you've obviously read this wrong. Where you're offended, what can I do about it? Get over yourself. We've all got to get over. But I mean, it was they just got it wrong. And afterwards we chatted to a couple of people and they went, "Oh, we could see what you were doing, but we came to see Hamlet, and we didn't get it." And we're like, "What can we do?" And none of them asked for their money back because they said, "Oh, it was us. We made an assumption." I said, "You made an assumption. We made an assumption about our audience, and we dismissed." But that was one. But I mean, another one was you talked about fights. I mean, I was doing panto, and two women. This was a matinee of Jack and the Beanstalk. I was playing Dame. I'm on stage as Dame, trying to be funny to an audience of 300 children.
I reckon you're probably succeeding, mate, not just trying.
Well, I was having a good go, but I was interrupted from my train of thought and comedy by two women and they had a fist fight in the middle of the stalls. I don't know what kicked off. Apparently, we heard afterwards, one woman had turned round and ridiculously, I think, in a panto, tried to shush some children up. I mean, that's kind of, well, that ain't going to happen anyway, and that ain't going to happen in a panto. But obviously, the mother of said children took umbrage, stood up, and they had a fist fight.
Wow.
Also, the other part of it was, and I don't know to what degree a dignitary she was, but one of the women was actually a local dignitary, councillor, MP, or something. Yeah, I don't know. But and the bless their hearts, the front of house staff. This is in Luton, the Library Theatre, as was. Yeah, they try to split them up, and they're volunteers, and they are, shall we say, ladies and gentlemen of a certain age, and then trying to split these two women up. And people are shouting at me, go on, Widow Twanky, you sort them out. And I'm going, no, I ain't going down there because I'm born and bred and live in Luton, and I know not to split two women up fighting. It ain't going to happen.
Jesus.
But I mean, it is sort of expectations, and I mean, theatres are sometimes to blame because you can upset patrons by not having enough loos, by charging too much for alcohol, queues, the prices of programs. I mean, you've got to ask where all that money goes, but that's probably a topic for another program.
It's funny you say that. I've got a little bugbear, and I realise we've what are we, third episode of the season, and we're already pissing and moaning. But hey, that's what people come to hear.
Oh, have a gripe, mate.
You mentioned about alcohol. Now I know a lot of places will not allow alcohol into auditoriums. Fine. I know a lot of places won't allow glass containers into auditoriums. Also fine. If you can justify it, great. But a little bugbear, or a little moment that annoyed me. A few weeks back, I took my grandmother to see what was it? Queens of Country. It's basically a tribute. A couple of ladies on stage for a live band doing all sorts of different countries. You
must have had a lovely time.
You know what? I'll be honest. It's definitely not my thing normally, but some of the music was really nice, and I enjoyed listening.
Yeah.
It's
sarcastic.
Not my normal direction that I go. But anyway, the story is that, so went along, and in the interval, went to get my grandmother a drink, and it was she had, I think it was a white wine spritzer, a small one. And I went to go and give it to her, and she's elderly, in her 80s, so she was sat in her seat, and I said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll go off." Came back, and sorry, sir. Sorry, what? You can't enter the auditorium with that. Why not? Because it's alcohol. Well, I can put it. It was in a wine glass. I can put it in one of the plastic tumblers. No, you can't have alcohol in the auditorium. Right. So I can take any drink in I like. Yes. As long as it's not alcohol. Yes. I can take glasses in with drinks in. Yes. As long as they haven't got alcohol in. Yes. Right. So I understand if you have a rule, rules are to be stuck to. But I can't quite fathom why this rule was in place. Because if you're allowed drinks in there, then it's not about spilling. It's not about making a mess, because drinks are in there regardless. If you're allowed glass in there, it's not about breaking glass. So it is purely about the alcohol and people getting rowdy, or whatever. That can be the only reason to not allow an alcoholic drink.
Yeah.
However, alcohol was being served in the bar before, during, interval, during after, all throughout. People had clearly been drinking beforehand, during, whatever. So if they wanted alcohol, they could still get alcohol. They just couldn't physically drink it beyond the doors at the back of the auditorium. And it was Queens of Country, right? If it was something like Magic Mike or a show where it's quite raucous and you expect large groups of people, or if it's some, I don't know, comedy gig or sports event where people are going to get quite sort of whatever, but to prevent my grandmother from having a small glass of white wine spritzer in a less than half full auditorium watching Queens of Country, it annoyed me a little bit. Now
I can understand.
Rules are rules. I stuck to the rules, but I think there are the odd moments where you go, I can sort of understand why some audiences might not be hugely impressed when you're putting these rules on them when they don't make a huge amount of sense. But anyway, that's my little moan on that.
I mean, quite apart from anything else, that white wine spritzer probably wasn't cheap either. Yeah.
No, I didn't quite have to take out a mortgage, but it was.
It's extraordinary how a bottle of wine in the street suddenly goes from being £10 to £20 as soon as it enters a theatre. Funny that.
Yeah.
Except when I go from outside the street having to pay the bills to inside a theatre, suddenly my worth goes down like that. I don't know what it is. Just me having a little bitch about how much actors are paid in theatres. La la la.
Yeah,
there we go.
Not quite at the level that we would hope from that respect, as opposed to the money that is thrown at theatres by paying patrons and
tickets
and drinks and programs and souvenirs and
amazing. We know it's not cheap. We're not having, I mean, it's not cheap to put a West End show on. However, if you've got 1,000 people in a theatre all paying round about £100 every night, that's not a bad profit there.
Yeah, and when you think with matinees, you've got 2 days a week where you're doing that twice, and the cost of living, electricity, gas, all that.
I get it, but
all enormous. But perhaps, and here we go to end. Here's a real controversial thing to suggest. Perhaps the government should help out a little bit more. Who can say? But anyway, let's steer clear of the moaning and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. Go.
What have you got coming up, mate? Anything exciting?
I'm doing some. We've got some. Our venue at the Watermill. We've got some events coming up towards the end of the month. I've got a one-man show or a one-man act that I'm reprising for. It's the 60th birthday of the British Music Hall Society, and I'm doing a show for them along with Verona. So we'll be doing a show for them in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm going to learn that again, get that back up. So nice little bits and pieces for myself, stuff that I'm producing and promoting, which is lovely.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I'll be no doubt putting the dye back in the hair for a few Manuel gigs coming up as well. So looking forward for that. What about you, mate? Apart from promoting stuff that you're not allowed to talk about.
So at this moment I'm not here because I'm somewhere
else. You're not here.
Something that I can't talk about. So I'm going to be talking about that in the near future. I've got various other bits coming up. Still doing some work on audiobooks as always, and a couple of other little spits and spots here and there. But most looking forward to next week, mate, because we got another guest, haven't we?
Time for a guest. You will be here for that, won't you?
I will be here, as will our guest. And I think it is safe to say it's taken us a while to get this one sorted. There have been schedule clashes. There have been alterations in plans. There have been so many things that have been basically up against us going, no, we're not going to allow this to happen. But I'm pleased to say it's going to happen. We've sorted it. It's
what happens when you get a talented guest who is in demand, not only by us, but other people as well. That's what it is. We get high quality guests.
Yeah, we are at the what's the root of our own downfall? Is that the phrase? But
I don't know, mate, because you're not here, so I don't have to answer that.
Exactly. This is all an element of your imagination.
You're a figment of my imagination.
That's what comes after.
A victim of our own success.
Yes, aren't we just? So please continue making us victims of our own success by coming back next week. As always, Any messages, comments, shares, likes, we appreciate everything. So
Keep them coming.
That. But for now, I shall say see you later, even though you can't see me because I'm not here, but I am here. Drew, I'm sure you can close off with something far more sensible. So,
well, I'm just hoping that even though you're not here, you'll be here next week to talk about not being here last week. Have a good week.
I have no idea what you just said. See you later.
No. Cheers. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.